Hi, I'm Michael Burke, and this is Money Talks.
Hi, welcome to Money Talks. I am with Sheila Nelson-Seybold of Villa Healthcare today. And we're going to be talking about your company's very recent acquisition of what was, Lincoln Village Convalescent Center, I believe it was called. And now it's called what?
The Villa at Lincoln Park.
Okay. I want to give just a little bit of context to this, a little bit of background. This all sprang from the receivership that Lincoln Lutheran ever seen continues to sort of plod its way through. And I attended the auction at which your company bought for $2.85 million this convalescent center, and has taken it over, and as of April 1st, 2015, your company is now fully running it. And Sheila is, by the way, the Director of Operations for the whole state of Wisconsin. How many facilities do you have in Wisconsin?
We have 4 facilities in Wisconsin, 2 in the Milwaukee area, 1 in the Madison area, and then of course the one in Racine.
Then the new one in Racine.
Yeah.
And altogether, I think your company has about 16, but they're not all nursing homes, correct?
Correct. 12 of those facilities are skilled nursing facilities located in Illinois, Minnesota, and Wisconsin.
Well, let's define what this one is. The convalescent center is sort of a, I think, kind of an old term. What does that really mean?
We use the term officially skilled nursing facility, transitional care. In the years that I've done this, it has changed tremendously, and we have really moved to transitional care, which is more of a short-term type of care for people that need short-term rehabilitation, while still continuing to provide that longer-term care for people that just have that medical need that they're not able to return to their home.
Let's further define that population just a little bit. Typically, what age are people now in today's society? We're all living longer, of course, at least on average. What age are people typically coming in as nursing home or skilled nursing home residents? And then what about when they're coming in for short-term rehab stints?
Very different. Short-term spans a much larger age bracket. We can sometimes, although it's not as common, have people as young as 30, 35 years old.
Wow.
But we do see people in their 60s or 50s very often, maybe needed to go in for a hip replacement or a knee replacement, and for whatever reason could not return to their home until their rehabilitation was done. So they come to a facility like Lincoln Park, get extensive rehabilitation services, allowing them usually to be able to go home or in assisted living or another form of care. Where long-term care usually ends up being people that are later in life, that have medical reasons or situations, possibly Alzheimer's needs, where living home alone just isn't feasible for them.
This seems like a really tough business to make money in, and you and I touched on that a little bit before this show. You're depending, I believe in a lot of cases, on Medicare reimbursements, and anybody who's been paying attention knows that those have been dwindling over the years, at least in relation to costs. So Lincoln Lutheran wanted to shed this because it was apparently a money loser for them, and your company comes in and says, we'll buy this. How do you make money in this business?
Well, I think we bring in our practices and our operational practices, whether that be in how we provide the care, how we provide services, or how we handle the business aspect of it. And there is certainly a way to be not necessarily profitable as much as being able to, at the minimum, break even, but certainly be able to provide that service at the cost we're provided. We are very reliant on Medicare and medical assistance for our patients. The vast majority, to 80 to 90%, maybe even a little higher, are tapping into that, or private insurances. And so we have to take what we have available, use the best business practices and operational practices and efficiencies we can while providing that exceptional care we need to do. So it is possible, it happens all over. We wouldn't have nursing homes if that wasn't possible.
Yeah. And by the way, your company is not only coming in just to run it and own it, but to put more money into it, because with that purchase, the very day of the auction, your company, your president announced that you're planning a multi-million-dollar upgrade of it. So, but before we talk about that, let me just, this transition period, you come in, you buy a place, it has lots of employees, and not only employees, but a union. How many employees does it have, and what happened with the transition from one owner to another owner?
Right. We did transition all of the employees that were interested. We allowed the employees to make that decision if they wanted to come along on the journey with Villa Healthcare, and the vast majority did decide to do that. So we currently have 139 employees on the roster. Now, that does include a fair amount of people that are what we would call casual status, that maybe pick up a shift here or there, but are not necessarily full-time employees.
Okay.
But we were able to make that transition from the staff that were previously Lincoln Lutheran staff to now Villa Healthcare staff.
And obviously that would include a lot of certified nursing assistants, probably some physical therapists, occupational therapists. What other types of people work in a place like that?
Oh, dietary
Oh, yeah.
staff, housekeeping, laundry, maintenance,
Oh,
nurses, obviously, ward clerks, you name it. I mean, we have to run a whole house, just as you would at home, from cleaning your house
Sure.
to doing the laundry to keeping things up,
Sure.
and the whole gamut, so.
Yeah. Let's, speaking of dietary, let's just touch on that a little bit. What level of emphasis does your company put on food quality and making people, really like what is put in front of them?
Well, we think choice is real important, so we always offer multiple choices, including, options for sandwiches or various things, because we know that sometimes that becomes a real socially important thing for residents and guests that are in a nursing home. So we do put an emphasis on offering an option for people, trying to listen to what their needs are and what their interests are, so that can be the case. And not only that, but that the meal is served in a way where it's hot when it needs to be hot and cold when it needs to be cold, and meets not only their interests and their palate, but also their nutritional needs, because that becomes very important with the elderly as well.
And of course, there are a lot of logistics in making sure it's there when it's hot and all of those kinds of things. So what are some of these upgrades that are coming down the road, and what's the process of getting there?
Well, Villa Healthcare, part of our three-tiered mission, so to speak, one of them is for it to be unexpected luxury. And that unexpected luxury is something we do in all of our facilities as we purchase them. Now, I want the folks in Racine to realize that takes a little bit of time. It is upwards of 9 months to a year, just because we need to go in, assess what the needs are, have a designer and an architect involved in that, get those plans then approved by the state of Wisconsin, as well as any local permits we need to get, put it out for bid, and then start construction. So it does take a little bit of time for us to do that, but if people check out our website, they will see what we've done in other facilities. Each facility is unique. We do a renovation that is really top to bottom. We renovate the resident rooms, we renovate the therapy space, the dining areas, the common areas, the offices, and try to provide almost a hotel or spa-like environment, so that it is comfortable and feels good to those that are there, because we think that's really important, that no matter what stage you are in your life, you have a right to have that kind of luxury.
And you had mentioned to me previously that, of course, you have residents in the place, and so you can't renovate everything at one time. It's got to be section by section or room by room, right?
Yeah, it is a very methodical plan that we have to go, because you obviously do have to be cognizant to the fact that people are living in those rooms. So we do put a plan where we maybe will work on the flooring in 1 or 2 rooms, or we might have a short period of time where residents live in a different room for a couple days while we're getting those things done. And then work on some of the common areas at the same time. But obviously you can't work on all the common areas, because people need a place to have dining, to continue to have their therapy services, and a place to relax. So,
how many, this is a 122-bed facility right now, how many of those are private rooms, or are they mostly double occupancy?
well, we are licensed for mostly all but 4 that are double occupancy. However, as we start to plan for the renovation, we will be making a determination to make a large amount of those private rooms. We haven't come to the determination how many. We do have one wing right now that is basically private rooms. And we do try to continue to accommodate folks as we're able to when they come in, when we have that availability.
And you will increase the number of private rooms, I believe, in the upgrades, right?
We will, absolutely.
And therefore lose a few beds. Mhm.
Yeah.
Finally, how do you, as you make these improvements, whether they be operational or very physical and very noticeable, how do you market yourself in this industry? You know, I don't see a lot of advertising for, hey, put your mom and dad in our place here.
Well, I think what's always important is to talk with the provider community, so the healthcare providers in the Racine area. So we are out there talking with the hospital, the physicians, the clinics, out into the community centers, the senior centers, anywhere where there are providers of healthcare that may want to recommend our services, or that those that need our services may be. So we've been pretty well out in a lot of areas in Racine over the last few weeks, letting people know that we're here, letting them know what our plans are, sharing a little bit of what we can provide.
So those providers, the ones who are basically funneling that population into the skilled care, are very much aware of your presence and anything you might be doing differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people, I'm sure, can line up tours, they can take tours with you.
We've actually, we've done a couple of ads in the newspaper, and we have actually had people, I thought this was wonderful, calling the facility saying, hey, I saw your ad, can we just come take a look? We may be in the market or we may not be in the market, but we kind of want to see, want to talk with you, we're interested, you've kind of piqued our interest, so to speak.
Yeah,
And
nice.
that's wonderful, because to
Yeah.
me that is one of the things with Racine is we really want to integrate in the community. It's a little bit different. We integrate in the community in like a place like Milwaukee, but it's a much larger metropolitan area. Racine's a little bit smaller, and we really want to be part of that community, and we're very proud to be part of that community. So.
Well, Sheila, Nelson-Seybold, thanks a lot for telling us about the plans, and welcome to Racine as a company, Villa Healthcare. Thank you for being on Money Talks. Thanks to our producer, Greg Shaver. I'm Michael Burke. Thanks for watching, and check out the name one more time.
Villa at Lincoln Park.